Okay, so let's see, we've got vertex at 0, 5, and then foci at 0, -4, and 0, 6. Okay, so this tells me that the hyperbola goes vertically up and down, right? Because these are aligned vertically, so I know that this is positive y squared. I can also get the center because the center is halfway between the two foci. So I just use the midpoint formula. Oops. So 0, 2/2 is 1. Okay, so I can also get the center now because the first vertex is 4 units up from the center, so the other vertex will be 4 units below the center. Okay, so I've got my A value. The distance between this is actually the C value. The distance between the center and the focus is 5 units, right, from 1 to 6. And then I also have my A value. The distance from the center to the vertex represents A, and from the center to the vertex is 4 units. Okay, so now I can calculate B. So remember, for the hyperbola, I add because the foci go past the vertices. Okay, so C squared, 5 squared is 25, equals A squared, which is 16, plus B squared. So 9 equals B squared, meaning B equals 3. Okay, so that means for the two vertices, I go 3 units in each direction. Okay, so the transverse axis connecting the vertices is 2 times A, so 2 times 4 was 8. Length of the conjugate axis, we went 3 units in each direction, so 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, so we're ready to draw the actual hyperbola. So we'll sketch in our asymptotes. And then, again, I know this, well, let me do the equation next. Okay, so again, I know this hyperbola goes up and down because of the vertices and foci being aligned vertically. Okay, so y minus k squared, so y minus 1 squared, over a squared, so a was 4, so 4 squared is 16. And then minus x minus h squared, but h is 0, so just x squared, over b squared, and b is 3. Okay, so then now sketching in the hyperbola, I know it starts close to an asymptote, hits the vertex, gets close to the other asymptote. And same thing down here. Okay, so let's rearrange some things. We gotta move the y's over. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're gonna have to do some factoring. Okay, so when I factor out the negative sign, it affects the 2y also. 2y divided by a negative is now negative 2y. Okay, so in order to get a negative 8x, I must have a minus 4, half of negative 8. So negative 4 squared is positive 16. And then 3 times 16 means I really added 48. Okay, so in order to get a minus 2y, I must have subtracted 1. So negative 1 squared is positive 1. But then because of the minus sign, I really subtracted 1. Okay, so negative 35 plus 48 minus 1 is 12. So let's divide both sides by that constant. Okay, so our center, h comma k, 4 comma 1. Okay, vertices. So because the x squared term is positive, I know I'm moving left and right from the center. So a squared is 4, meaning a is 2. So I move 2 units to the left and the right. Which means that the length of the transverse axis is 2 times 2, which is 4. All right, so conjugate axis comes from the b squared. So b squared is 12, meaning that b is radical 12 or 2 radical 3. Okay, so I go 2 radical 3 up and down. So that's about nearly 3.5. So about 3.5 up and 3.5 down. Okay, so if I went 2 radical 3 up and 2 radical 3 down, that's 4 radical 3 total. Okay, so now I can connect up. And sketch in my asymptotes. Okay, and again, I know this hyperbola goes left and right because it's the x squared term, which is positive. So I know it's going to hit the vertex here and here. So start close to the asymptote, hit the vertex, get close to the other asymptote, and same thing on the other side. Okay, how about the foci? So we need to use the equation c squared equals a squared plus b squared, because again, for a hyperbola, the foci go past the vertices. So a squared is 4, b squared is 12. So c squared equals 16, meaning c is 4. So from the center, I go 4 units left and 4 units right. So 4 units left would be at 0, 1. 4 units right would be at 8, 1.